as always. So tell your friends outside the metaverse and in all the other worlds that they're in to tune in. We are live streaming on Lux Vision Studios, but we are on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media platforms you guys use. Um, yeah, so make sure you guys tune in. But welcome back to Nurturing Your Creativity, everyone. I'm your host for the seminar, Coda KOD, and we have finally made it to our last week of the seminar, week 7. But before I get into it, let me introduce myself a bit further, as always. I'm a singer, songwriter, poet, rapper, world builder, visual artist, philosopher, and motivational speaker from Minnesota. And when I was brainstorming for this seminar, I started putting it together piece by piece over time. And as it grew, I realized I was creatively constructing a creative seminar. And this event just felt so right. Looking back now at it, you can see creative energy displayed live on stage in and through each and every moment and conversation that's been had throughout the duration of this whole seminar. So it's been one of my proudest bodies of work, and I can't wait to see where my creativity takes me next. But it's always an adventure. Speaking of which, I've been working diligently on another collection of music, the genre being ambient and experimental. I've been working on a world to experience all of this as well. So watch my Instagram at the Kodo Reel to know the dates for that event as soon as I drop them. But there's a lot of special songs within that whole event, so make sure you don't miss the event in the future. It's going to be kind of celebrating everything that happened here at the Guardian with the creativity seminar, but always trying to innovate. So with everything I do, I want you as the audience, as the listeners, to be able to experience rather than just observe. And I promise you I will continue to strive to create one-of-a-kind experiences. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who supported me through my avenues of music, world building, or anything else of mine you supported, like this even. Thank you. Also, I would like to say thank you to FlexTie, who made this event possible and worked on this amazing venue alongside Takatato. This space actually inspired the seminar, and it turned out to be the perfect spot for it. Also, I'd like to give a huge thanks to all the amazing guests that came out and shared their incredible insights for us. It's been an incredible last 6 weeks with so much amazing knowledge poured out to us in all of these episodes. And thanks to Lux Vision Studios, who volunteered actually to live stream and record the entire event. And last but certainly not least, thank you to DeVeo Technologies for supporting this event. That last thank you happens to be appropriate for tonight's conversation. I hope you all brought your notes tonight, because backstage right now is one of the most iconic and prolific creators in the metaverse. He's been here for a long time. His unique style, known by many, has made an impact on our community, the way it looks and the way it's been built. He is a pioneer in this space and has made a significant impact on my life as well. I'm overjoyed to have him as the grand finale special guest. So without further ado, can everyone please throw up some confetti and give a warm welcome to the stage, Matlo 3D. Hey. welcome. Welcome to the Creative Couch. How are you?
Good, man. That was some intro. Thank you, dude. And man, you're my guy, man. You're awesome, dude.
I told you, King Matlo.
Stop. No, don't do that. Don't say King Matlo. Stop that.
Our ruthless leader.
Nope. I'm just happy to be here, man. I'm happy to be on stage with you and catching up with you. We haven't caught up in a while, so
seriously,
this should be fun. Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. I'm looking forward to it. I know you have so much light to share, and it's gonna be great. But before we get into it, I'm gonna just give you your flowers quick, like I do for everybody, and then we can go on to our conversation adventure. So bear with me while I grab your coffee cup. Here, if you want this, you can grab it. It's on the table there.
Okay. Yeah, I was just telling Coda, by the way, guys, I have a whiskey in front of my headset, so I'm just gonna pretend this is a whiskey cup.
Perfect. Yeah. When you drink the whiskey, you pick up the coffee cup with it. Okay. Well, as you enjoy that, I just want to start off by saying Matlo is one of the kindest people I have ever met. When I first met Matlo, I had reached out to him via Instagram. I was new to Horizon still and really had zero building knowledge at all. And I asked Matlo if he would be willing to help me work on this world I was practicing on, as I had seen his work everywhere. And he had a reputation built for him. Um, though I thought to myself, now, way I was I just thought to myself, no way I was gonna hear back from you, like, you know, but gotta try. And he hit me back a day later. Hey, of course, let me know a time and I'll try to make it work. I was like, let's go. So he ended up coming in this build I was working on, put some lights up, showed me how to do some building, and we ended up really just talking about all sorts of stuff. Same time this was all happening. And some time went by and I started to learn more and more growing off of the few things that Matlo taught me that evening. And I checked in with him every time I finished a new build. We even had a collab on a water park in here, and I still love that build so much. But I kept building. Then one day, like Flex Ty and I were talking about last week, I asked if I could join DeVeo. And your response was, I thought you were a lone wolf. Of course you can. Like I thought you had your own thing going on, or like, and that seems to be a common theme with a lot of the DeVeo members. So it's just like it's such a cool thing. Everybody wants to be a part that's in it. So we're definitely going to talk about that. But that was a full circle moment for me, from just meeting you, not knowing how to use the Snap tool, to being in DeVeo now. The bottom line is you have supported me and helped push me forward, always heard me out and saw what I had to offer, and you believed in me when not many did. Matlo is a rare kind of individual. He's a family man. I so admire the way you love your family and teach them creatively. And we're definitely going to talk about that tonight too, because that's so awesome. But I know I speak on behalf of the Horizon Worlds community when I say thank you for being you, doing the things you do best, and most importantly, for bringing so much joy into the metaverse. We appreciate it,
Thank you,
Matlo.
man. Thank you, dude. Damn. Thank you, man. I think I just froze. Did I point up?
Yeah, you coined up, but I
Give
was
me
like,
one sec.
he's still here. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
You're
And
good. You're
Flex said
good.
this was gonna happen. I'm just gonna jump back in. Just give me 2 seconds, all right?
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Okay.
Slight intermission. We'll take this moment to do breathing exercises. Is everybody ready? Deep breath in and out. I need crowd participation here. All right, everybody, deep breath in and out. Feel the relaxation. It's here in the Guardian tonight. Oh, that's good. That's good. What kind of coffee is this, Flex? This is cappuccino. D's like, just stop talking until he comes back.
It's espresso.
It's espresso, he says. It's good. I'm gonna be wired. Yeah, I'll wait for the second hour. uh yeah. I'm glad I got everything that I needed to say for that first part though, while he was here.
All right, man.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Matlo back on the stage, everyone. We were doing breathing exercises.
This is like the VR version of being extremely embarrassed. Like whatever you can do in real life, and go on stage and do embarrassingly. That I just did that.
No, it's no big deal. what's nice is actually these are being recorded back so that we can watch them. So I've really been looking at it like that too, where we can watch it back and still get all the valuable information as
Oh
it's
yeah.
put down. So
Mhm. Yeah.
now that you're back, tell me about your wonderful start in the metaverse.
Um, yeah, no, it's been great this whole metaverse journey, and thank you for all those kind words
Oh,
that
of
you were saying,
course,
man,
yeah.
before I coined up. But yeah, no, it's been great. It's been an insane 2 years or so. Just discovering things alongside you, alongside a lot of creators out there. It's been fun, man, and yeah, it's insane to think like how much it's changed and just how much it's gonna keep changing. Um, I don't know. I don't know if you see it the same way I do, but you just see things keep progressing rather than
Hmm.
slowing down, and that's very promising to see. So, yeah, man.
Yeah. So tell me kind of then what you've built so far, and then what you'd like to build, and then what you're currently focused on. Kind of like a one at a time, like so what you've built so far first.
Yeah. So, um, if I'm going way back to the start, I mean, there was a lot of primitive builds. I started with a test on how to build a mansion just to see,
Nice, yeah.
and it was complete crap. That build was crap. I wanted to throw it away the second I finished it.
Oh man.
But the second build was more fun because I learned all those lessons in the first build, right? What not to do, make sure you snap, things like that. So the second build was the Bull Restaurant, and that was I think everybody has that kind of world where they have they kind of hold on to that world. It's the special place in their heart, or it's a world that kind of made their reputation in here. So
Yeah.
the Bull Meta Restaurant kind of was that for me. Back in the day, it was I was really trying to push kind of the look of what you could do with primitives. And we didn't have anything, we didn't have dynamic lights, we didn't have asset libraries, we had nothing, just your basic shapes and static lighting that took like 5 minutes to update. So you'd plant a light and just wait there and
That's
see,
right. Yeah.
right? So those were fun days. Not really. but but I loved it because that was the it's going to be nice to look back on those days, right? You know, and say like I went through those hardships, and progressed and whatever with everybody else. So, yeah, that was the Bull Restaurant. That one holds a special place in my heart. Which also I'm planning to redo it as a tri-mesh version.
Okay.
So that'll be
Nice.
cool when I do
That's
that.
gonna
Yeah,
be awesome.
yeah,
I can't wait for that.
yeah.
I love
Um,
that build. So
yeah,
so well done.
yeah. And
Especially
there's other.
even for being
Yeah.
an early build too. That's insane.
Yeah.
But
And that world, it surprisingly has a lot of meaning to a lot of people. A lot of people had their first virtual VR dates in there.
yeah.
Medically, Rupert had like an anniversary date in there with his wife when he was away on a business trip, and he wanted to be closer to his wife, so he chose to to be in that restaurant
Oh,
with his wife, which was a really cool story.
that's
Um,
great. Yeah.
yeah. And then I've done a few builds since then, and I've done a build with you. I've done a build with done several with Flex. I've even done one with D and a few people in the crowd there. Yeah, and now with the whole Trimesh thing, that's exciting. And you're seeing a lot of really cool creations come out from a lot of creators and a lot of people, you know, picking up Blender, which is awesome because I'm a 3D guy. For those of you that don't know, that's my background. And if things ever crumble here with Horizon, like how they did in Alt Space, God forbid, let's not let's not
Don't
put
even
that out
say
there.
it. Oh no.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but say it did,
Right.
and and
Yeah.
and people are learning Blender right now. It's actually I love seeing that. Love seeing Jay pick that up because you're gonna be okay afterwards if this does tank. And I've actually got a lot of opportunities outside of Horizon, um, from the work I did in Horizon, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I've had companies notice the work I did in here and say, "Hey, do you actually know any 3D programs too?" And then I tell them, "Yeah, I have a 3D background." But it's going to be nice to hear that for other people in here who started in Horizon and are now picking up Blender, and they're going to get those same opportunities that I've been lucky to get. So, uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so, I mean, so Blender then, so what are you currently focused on? Because I know, but for the people, what are you currently focused on?
Um, well, like in terms of world builds or
Yeah, yeah, world builds and just creatively, like what's what are you currently just working on and focused on? I say focused on because I didn't want to say what are you working on because I know you're like me where we like to be secretive until we drop whatever big thing we've been sitting on for however many months we're stewing on it.
yes, yeah. And I'm still that person. I'm still kind of quiet and revealing things. Unless it's at a certain point where I know I'm gonna finish it, then
Yeah.
I'll start showing people. But yeah, I'm trying to work on a new vehicle that should be
Okay.
pretty cool because it's going to be tri-mesh, so it'll have an interior and you can open the doors and all that. So that'll be fun.
Awesome.
And then yeah, I think I have three tri-mesh builds currently underway. Um, and again, just trying to push the aesthetic side of things. And um, I don't know, I'm not as serious as about things as I was back in the day. Like in terms of if I do a world or I do a build, if it hits or doesn't hit, it doesn't matter anymore,
Right.
because you kind of put in that early work. So now it's just more so what kind of fun things would I like to do? What kind of things are gonna actually affect people, like in a positive way? Like
Yeah.
just like how you're doing with nurturing your creativity. Like this is so good for the community. We need more stuff like this. And not only that, you just mentioned like a few minutes ago, like how much this project meant to you. And now that it's going to come to an end, a wrap, I mean, those are the kind of projects I'm looking to get forward, like get involved in. So if it's anything along those lines, then you'll probably see me either get involved or collaborate with others on that. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
Awesome. And then what's next for you? Like, do you have any kind of future plans looking forward? Um, what's next for Matlo's creative life,
Yeah.
creative dreams?
Yeah, no, I think the past 2 years has shown that there is opportunity in here. And I'm speaking from experience. Like for those of you looking for opportunities, keep putting out work, keep putting out content, and just keep putting out your stuff. And you don't even have to be a world builder in here to succeed. By the way, like you could be a musician, you could
Mm-hmm.
be a podcaster, you could, and you could find your own lane in here and then do amazing things. So just so because often people think, oh, you got to be a world builder to actually do something cool in here. It's no, there's so many things you could do, even if it's as simple as like your presence and you say you have an aura about you and every time you walk into a room or a world, like everybody gravitates toward you or like the mood shifts and everybody's like in a good mood. Like there's value in that. Like I could use someone like that in a world opening I'm doing, or so there's so many ways to succeed in this space. And yeah, for me, like just because of the 3D background, I've been succeeding with getting contract work and things like that. And obviously, I want to build the veil. That's kind of like the child of mine that I'm just keep trying to nurture and trying to grow and find the right
Mm-hmm.
people, which I
Mm-hmm.
have, like you and D and FlexTie and um, yeah, yep, just keep growing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. You you coined up again. I'm not sure
Yeah.
you might come back.
Should I? I guess I'll have to come back, eh? I don't
Is
know if
it
is there a
same thing?
solution to that?
I'm not sure.
It's
I
like I
haven't
coined twice now.
I haven't
Hmm.
seen this
Yeah.
glitch before. Of course
Oh
it would
man.
happen.
On finale night, yeah.
We had we had a good little run there though. I mean, yeah, we'll just do little half hour, like little half hour power half hours, and then you just leave and come back. And maybe the breaks are good. Maybe this is what's supposed to happen. I'm a firm
Maybe.
believer in what is supposed to happen will happen. So
Yes. Well,
maybe if
hopefully
we
Horizon is watching this because they can be like, yeah, that can't happen.
that can't happen, guys. This is Matlo. Come on, can't be
Yeah.
coining out.
All right.
No.
I'm gonna jump back out and back in again. Hopefully this will be the last one, but we'll see.
Okay, yeah, you got it. I like it. We got music. Thank you, Zola. I start freestyling. I'm just trying to get creative. Let me not. I'll wait for Matt to get back. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the stage, Matlo 3D.
You know what? And I just had an idea. Maybe you want to, do you want to co-guest? Because I'm okay sharing the stage with anybody. Like, is there, if anyone of you wants to come up, and when I coin, if I coin out again, at least the conversation keep flowing. But
right, keep flowing.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll keep it running. I'm not in any rush or anything, so
yeah, no, neither am I. As long as sorry about
I'm,
the technical difficulties, everybody.
No, it's totally fine. I think if there's little breaks in there, that is just fine. Yeah. If anything, we don't even need to really do our regular intermission.
Yeah, we'll just do these little breaks.
Yeah, little breaks. This is good. Okay, so before you left, you were talking about you wanted to focus more on DeVeo. Tell me about then kind of, because I'm more just kind of getting context for everybody to kind of know what you do. So I want to know the full story for tonight. We'll call it The Rise of DeVeo.
Yes.
Can you tell the rise of the rise of DeVeo story?
Yeah, so DeVeo started very small. It was essentially just a few of us, and we were just another group in here that was into building and things like that. And then we, after a few of the builds, we started noticing that the name was getting out there and people were recognizing the name. I was like, okay, so maybe it's time to expand the team and grow it a bit. And but I knew if I was going to do that, I wanted the right people. People that were fun to be around and talented in their own areas. And the next thing was just I wanted to make a strong impact in the community. I don't just want to be a group just for the sake of being a group. Like, if we're going to do this, let's try to do it right. So we just kept building it over a few years, and now it's this kind of metaverse brand that I didn't really expect it to kind of get this big. So now people are reaching out and they're asking, what does it take to be on the team? Or, how can we get another build from DeVeo? What are you guys up to next? And it's kind of cool because it started small and it was just, okay, let's see where things go from here. And now for it to be what it is and for it to keep going and keep growing, is really cool to see, especially the events. If you've never been to a DeVeo event, you need to go to a DeVeo event because they're really fun and they're really well planned, and
Indeed,
they're usually quite memorable. Like, I've never had like we partner up with Metasource Promotions, and we and musicians like yourself and Harles, and they always get packed out, and they're just a lot of fun. Like, they're very memorable events. So yeah, anyways, we're going to keep going with it. We're going to keep building it over the next few years, and we're going to be we're going to be looking for investment. We're going to be looking for new clients, new revenue streams and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for all of it. And it's amazing. And I mean, I know I'm a part of it now too, but congratulations on everything you've built with that, seriously, because I know that that has to be almost a moment of like you blink and all of a sudden you have it all in front of you and you're like, whoa, how did I get here? Like, the small beginnings and all. Uh, yeah, that's so good. Um, but tonight, I, uh, kind of getting the context out of the way, I'm gonna do something kind of different for the structure, for the finale. So I'm gonna do like a case study, referring back to all the guests in no specific order, but just asking you some of the questions I asked them, as well as talking a bit about it, some of those topics and even those creators a bit further as well. Um, so if you guys couldn't tell, I'm a Matlo fan. I gained a lot of inspiration from you in my work. You have helped me really dial in and refine my style. I had conversations with Flex Ty and Angel about this. Tell me about the process of refining your style.
Yeah. You, I don't know about you, but I'm a constant believer of you kind of always want to keep learning. Doesn't matter
Yeah,
what age you are, how even how good you get at your particular craft, you want to keep learning. Like for me, like I've told my wife this, I plan to be 80, 90 years old on my deathbed, and I hope I'm still learning something new, you know,
yeah,
because otherwise you're kind of you're dead then if you think you have all the answers. So I think that's a big key is just constantly be someone that wants to keep learning. Keeps things interesting, keeps life interesting. And in terms of creativity, I mean, you might think you have the answer for doing something, but the great thing about the creative field is that there's no correct answer, just many, many different types of answers. Like in mathematics, 4 plus 4 equals 8, right? And it'll be pretty hard to argue that,
right, yeah,
that there's another answer for that. But in the creative field, like if someone were to tell you, okay, we need a concert world, there's
right,
no this is the correct way to build a concert world. It's like there's multiple ways, and there's probably ways you haven't thought and that are all correct, and they're all really good ways of doing something. So, um, yeah, I think that's those two things: constantly learning, and just knowing that you don't always have the answer to everything, and there's always someone that can provide some value. Um, yeah,
yeah.
just keep doing that
That's
all the way to
good.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you define and identify with an aesthetic then, rather than just like the style? Like an aesthetic, something that kind of holds, because you do have an aesthetic that's known and inspired so many builds in here. I see it everywhere. I'm like in a build and I'm like, yo, they took that from Matlo.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like
But like,
I don't gatekeep. So like when I
yeah,
do a cool effect, I do share it. And then if someone does do it, I don't care. They don't even have to ask me for permission. It's just that's the whole point, right? Is to do something cool and hopefully other people will take it and do something with it. And hopefully they
right.
further it too, because that's the whole point is in us helping each other, right? So but yeah, often I do get that sometimes where it's like someone will come up to me and it's like, I did your reflective flooring effect, and I'm like, okay, first of all, it's not my effect, but cool. And it's just uh it's yeah, the whole gatekeeping thing I think is you don't have to do that in here,
Yeah.
like
No.
unless someone's trying to steal your identity and reputation or something weird like that. But in terms of just like little things like that, like, oh, I like the your lighting effect here. I kind of did it here. That's that's great. That's what we should be doing is kind of learning from each other and upping the game constantly. I for sure Meta wants to see that, right? They want to see improvement, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say there's probably nobody else that's been stolen from as much as you in here, but that's okay. I know he's okay with it. Everyone, it is called inspiration. That's a bit of an exaggeration, obviously. Please don't actually steal from Matlow, but learn from him.
No, and you know
Learn from
what?
him, study how he does things. If you want to excel in any lane, you have to study the ones who do it best,
That
you know?
that's true. Yeah, I do that all the time. There's a lot of amazing creators in here. I'm I'm even just lucky to be on the stage, considering all the guests you had in the past few weeks. Just you've had amazing people on here. Um, and yeah, and to speak on your point in terms of stealing, which it does happen in here.
Right.
And you see some people get really up in arms when it does happen. Um, I would suggest try not to, because usually what happens is the person stealing or copying you is not as good at doing that as like doing something like you're good at doing.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's happened to me before where someone stole something. They even made it known to me like they were stealing something from me. I was like, okay, cool, just go with it. And it like flopped. And of course it flopped because they were kind of copying, and they did it in a way that was, it was almost like the Wish version of something. You've heard that expression, guys.
You'll
It's like if
never,
someone,
yeah,
yeah, if
you'll
someone were
never
to
meet a
copy
hater
you,
better than you. It's the,
yes, yeah.
it's the
But if
quote.
you're original, then you'll get known for that, right? If you have an
Yes.
original idea, that's what I suggest to people is if you have an idea, put it out there, especially if it's something that hasn't been done before, because that's the that's where it's at, to get known for something that it was your own brainchild, like the same thing with nurturing your creativity, is that was your brainchild.
Yeah.
And Flex supported you on that, and look how it turned out. Like I took away so many valuable things from the guests you've had, so
Oh,
yeah.
thank you. I'm
Yeah.
super glad. I feel like I'm learning things too. I've learned so much from this, in my own research, like pre-episodes, and also like just through the episode itself, because of all the guests. I mean, they've all been so much fun to have on the show. Um, every single one of them. Like I said, I mean, they're all like our close friend group. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of what I've said each episode, where it's like these are really just my friends, but they also just happen to be some of the best creators in the space.
Mm.
And it just totally made sense in my head, the way that it all unfolded. So I definitely wanted to talk about them too. Um, you know,
Yeah.
like Flex Tie first and foremost, because I just kind of brought him up. We had a conversation about kind of what inspires you. I asked that to Flex. What inspires you? What inspires you, Matt?
Mm. Well, my kids inspire me, my family. I know it's a very generic answer, but ever since my kids were born, kind of, especially like the first time I became a dad, it had this weird effect on me. I like my wife's water broke, and it was like, holy shit, okay, this is exciting. Like the
Yeah,
adrenaline starts pumping, and then
yeah,
you start to realize, holy shit, I'm going to be a father pretty soon, like in just maybe a few hours, who knows.
yeah,
And my life is about to change, because now it's not just about providing for myself. I got to provide for someone else. Someone else is counting on me. So, a lot of people say, "Oh, when you have kids, like you're more fearful." Like, but it did the opposite for me. It kind of turned me into someone that's less afraid of things. Like it's just if I'm gonna go after something and try to do it, I'm gonna do it because now I have a reasoning behind me. Like my kids counting on me to like make this metaverse endeavor succeed, or whatever it is I'm pursuing. Now my time is much more valuable in here. The things I do is more valuable, and it's with intention. Whereas before, maybe I could futz around and doesn't matter. But now, like every minute counts. Um, so yeah, I mean that's what inspires me. And just on a creative level, I mean, I get inspiration from a lot of things. You know, I know Flex during his talk, he said like a lot of the ideas just come to him in his head. He doesn't look up any Pinterest things or whatever. And it's it's a little bit opposite for me. Like I'll get inspiration from like listening to a song, watching a movie, talking to people like you late at night at 3 a.m., talking
yeah.
about some weird ass shit.
Right, yeah.
Excuse my language. Sorry. It's just, but
No,
yeah,
you're
no, we
good.
get into some weird conversations at, that time of hour. And then you wake up the next day and then you feel inspired to do something. So, I mean, you can draw inspiration from almost anything. And yeah.
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 And yeah, and Flex and I had a great conversation about that. Tell me about your relationship with Flex real quick.
Oh, okay. Well, Flex is a god, first of all, in here, if you don't know that.
Look at
I'm
him
trying,
shaking his head over
yeah,
there.
I'm like purposely trying to embarrass him too.
Oh yeah.
But he is though, like at least in my mind, like in the way I view him, he is a god in so many aspects too. Like he is amazing at building.
Yeah.
He has a great eye for detail. And the one thing I really like about Flex is just he's a great person to be around. And when you're around someone like that, your best work comes out. You feel more comfortable working. You feel, you can run ideas by a person like that. So, yeah, Flex is just someone that, like, when people say, "Oh, who would you recommend I learn from or whatever?" Flex is one of those people I like, hands down, just throw his name in there. Um, yeah, and it's not just for the building aspect too. It's like I know if I'm going to recommend Flex to someone, not only are they getting a great builder to learn from, they're getting a great person to like interact with. So it's not like he's going to go in there and just dump on their work. He's going to actually help them out. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I got nothing but good to say about Flex as well. He's patient. He knows to just be calm with people and yeah, he would be a really great teacher. Flex, you hear this? He'd be a
hmm
okay, Flex is building school open for business, taking applications. So,
yeah. And
um
for those of you that don't know, Flex is very introverted. Like he has
yeah.
stage fright, and I'm sharing all this, Flex. This is what good friends do. They put you on blast on stage. Yeah, but no, he's amazing. Yeah, uh, can't say enough good things about him. Yeah.
Yeah, shout
Mhm.
out to Flex. And also shout out to Harles Mack. Uh
Yes.
another homie I had what was it 2 weeks ago on the seminar. We had a enlightening part of our conversation about perspective. Um that was like having a different perspective than everyone else might mean seeing what no one else sees and living a life that no one else understands and envisioning and feeling emotions in a way only you can experience. And the best artists can manage and convey those feelings in their purest form to their art. But what is your perspective creatively? Like, how do you look at things with the intention of being inspired or with the intention of finding creativity in your surroundings?
Yeah. I think I've tried to look for creativity, like actively,
Mm,
and be inspired to do a project. And uh, in my experience, it just has to come to you, and you just have to hope you hit that wave, and then you ride that wave. I know you and Harles were talking about, I think it was something called flow state.
yes.
And when you get that, just hold on to it, because then all your fire soundtracks and all that can come out. It's the same thing with creativity. It's like if you get inspired by a movie, or you're talking to someone and all of a sudden you get a wave of inspiration, grab on and hold on to it, because it disappears. At least it's disappeared for me in the past, and it's hard to get it back. Like you can be in a funk, you could be sitting on the couch and like, man, I need to do something. I need to build a new world, or I need to do something, and it's just not coming to you. And it can be very, very demotivating. But then something happens. Like you talk with someone, they say something triggering that's like, oh, that would make for a cool world, or that would make for a cool podcast, or a cool song. And I would just say, like, at least that's my approach to creativity, is try to do things, just get yourself in the right spots, right? Go to events, watch a movie, and then it'll hit you where it's like, that's what I want to do next. That's what I want to, and then just grab onto it and try to ride it for as long as you can, because it'll go away and then you got to find it again. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and then I want to know how you met Harles.
Oh,
Can you describe that? Do you remember meeting Harles? Is that
that's
a
that's so funny. That's weird. I do remember, and it was awkward. It was so awkward. Okay, so I met Harles through Daydream Davy. But Daydream Davy he was just building a world, and he sent me a test invite, so I jumped in, and he was with Cheeks, and then there was this other guy in there, and I didn't know him, and I was like, okay, there's some other dude in here, so that which was Harl's Mac, by the way. But I was like, so I kind of just was cautious and was just like, oh hey, what's up? And we didn't talk much because Davey was talking to me, I was talking to him, and then Harl's was just kind of hanging out. Um, and then I was like, okay, I'll leave you to it. And then I left the build. And then I forget what it was, but just Harl's Mac, I think he reached out to me or I reached out to him afterwards. And then we realized we just dug each other's work. Like, I forget what it was. Like, if it was he dug my 3D stuff or I ended up diving into his music. And then we just clicked. Like,
Mm,
dude, we can really help each other out. Like, I need stuff for a music video I want to do in here. And then he just started making music, but like with my name in the songs and stuff.
yeah,
And we kind of supported each other that way. And then we just really, yeah, like he said it too the other day, like a few weeks back, like, man, I'm really glad I met you. And then I'm thinking to myself, dude, like the feeling is so mutual, man. Like however our paths crossed, thank God it
yeah.
did. Like it was a, it was a good thing. Yeah.
I think about that all the time. It's super crazy, and the metaverse is probably one of the craziest assets that we'll ever have available to us to have paths cross in life because I never would have met all these people. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Spirited Away before. I just watched that yesterday, and I'm going off script here, but at the end of the movie, there's a scene where the girl comes out of like the portal, the tunnel that she was just in, where all the spirits were in the big spirit world that she was in, and the whole movie basically takes place. And it's like just this scene where she's just kind of sitting there looking at this empty tunnel and remembering, and it's just like a scene of her, but you can almost tell what's going through her head. And I feel like that was me as I stood and looked at my Oculus charging on my couch today. I'm like, thinking of all my friends and all the builds that are just sitting in this digital realm waiting for me. And never would have thought all these things would have happened. But yeah, it's created an extra way for us to be able to connect
Yeah.
in here. Um and another connection that uh we both have made in here is Gail Benning.
Mm,
Week one.
yeah. It's
Um he
amazing.
talked about uh finding creativity, finding your creativity and what is creativity. So I wanted to ask you, same thing I asked him, what is your definition of creativity?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's hard to define. I think there's probably many definitions. For me, my definition is it has to be something you enjoy and you're having fun. And I thought about that because I remember that question you asked Gail, and I was thinking, well, how would I define creativity? And to me, I was thinking, I've never heard a person say the words, I'm being really creative right now, but they're upset.
Mm,
Usually when they're saying I feel really creative right now, I'm being creative, they usually have a smile on their face and they're happy about whatever it is that they're doing. So
yeah,
to me, that's the definition of creativity is finding something and enjoying it and playing around, doing cool things that's, you're trying to push the boundaries of things and you're trying to be creative, but you have to be enjoying it. I would say that's when you hit your pinnacle state of creativity is when you're actually enjoying it. Um, yeah, I've never heard a person say they hate. I'm
yeah,
not enjoying being creative right now. Like it's usually people they're proud and happy to say, oh yeah, this has been a real creative moment for me. It's like, yeah, it's got to be something you enjoy.
yeah, absolutely. Um, do you have a creative ritual? Like like a get a vinyl going or something? Like you got
Yeah,
a certain
no.
certain drink you make, certain
Yeah, no, I usually go out to the farm. I get a lamb. I get a sharp blade and light some candles in a circle. And
That's how you built the restaurant. Yeah,
No,
and that lights on
yeah,
fire at the
yeah,
end.
yeah. Sacrifice the lamb.
Right.
Yeah, no, rituals. No, I don't really have any rituals. I do, I do weird things like, I'll light a candle and get a glass of whiskey
Yeah.
and head down, head to the office, like the home office at like 2 o'clock in the morning and just kind of do some cool work. Or sometimes it's not even work. It's just a whole night of just gathering ideas for the next day,
Mm,
just, so it's just collecting and curating some ideas. I like baths. I like bubble baths. I'll just sit in a
yeah.
bubble bath and I'll just like think. That's it. Like just
Mm,
stare at the wall or stare at the whatever, and I'll just think of, okay, what do I need to do next? Like, do I really need to be doing this? What's the next thing that makes sense? So yeah.
right. No, that's awesome. That's
The
awesome. I appreciate you letting us in on the creative
bubble
rituals.
baths.
The bubble baths, yeah. Is that what inspired the bathhouse here?
Oh, okay. I watched the interview with Tom Ford. You know who Tom Ford is, right?
Tom Ford, yeah.
Yeah, and he apparently that's a ritual for him. Like that's an actual
Oh,
ritual for him where he's like he takes a bubble bath every day or something. He takes a bath in the morning and then he takes a bath in the evening. And then he's like going into it and he's like really adamant about his bath time and sitting in the bath. and, and he says like ideas flow to him and it like just calms him and he it prepares him for the next day or whatever. So I tried it, obviously not to his level of doing it every day, but I'm like, yeah, every now and then I noticed like it helps to just like have it doesn't even have to be a bath, by the way, guys, but like just a moment for yourself in like silence to just think,
mm-hmm.
because you know how life can get pretty busy, right? And you don't have time to think.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a quiet moment to reflect and like, okay, yeah, I need to rejig what I'm doing. I need to repivot, my life or do something else. So yeah.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
I'll even chime in and say that solitude is probably the most crucial piece of my creative process. And that's just me. Everybody's
Yeah.
creative process is different. Everybody lights a different candle and pours a different drink when they
Yep.
go into their creative ritual. But that's just kind of me. Getting alone, I think, is really important, and just sitting in silence is super important. Um, I've even made a bunch of music recently, just observing silence and like even using the word silence in it, just because I've been really focused on that. So I just wanted to chime in on that. That exercise some solitude and just see what it does for you, because it'll reveal what's really there, and you can access deeper states of your mind without it being so distracted easily.
Yep.
Um, Getting into a deeper state of meditation is huge for creativity.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. And then also, before we move on to this next point, I wanted to ask, because I'm trying to ask a little something about each one of the each one of the creators. But do you have a memory that you could think of that you could share that you had with Mr. Gail Benning? Just like a fun memory with Gail.
Yeah. Gail, he's such a great guy, and so talented. Um, he often, what he usually does, I don't know if anybody else experiences, but he invites me to these private world tours of stuff he's working on, and they're always so insightful. And he's like, he just wants to show his stuff before it's finished or released, and yeah, like I cherish those nights that he invites me to his worlds to like check out stuff because we end up checking it out and then we talk. Like we just talk about life. We talk about new techniques on, because he's doing some cool stuff in there and then I'm asking him how he's doing it and he's sharing his knowledge and he's another one of these guys that doesn't gatekeep, He's very much about the community and helping others and then just
Yeah.
doing cool stuff that he enjoys. Like he's his whole Halcyon universe, which by the way, check out guys, because
Yeah.
it's incredible. Like it's
So
really,
good.
really cool. Um, that's just something he wanted to do for himself. Like he
Yeah.
didn't even do any promotion on it. Like which I hope he does more of now because I think it's close to complete, but and he had about like 15, 20 plus worlds in this Halcyon universe, and he just did it for himself. And I was like, good for you, dude, because he was
Yeah.
just a guy that was just nurturing his creativity. Like he was
Yeah.
just, yeah, he was just doing it for himself. He's like, I enjoy it, I love it. And then me and you too, like because he told me a bit like you're like you got to show this, and I told him the same thing. I'm like my business mind was going off. I was like, Gail, you gotta show this stuff, man. Like you gotta, like you could probably be getting opportunities with like, I don't know, something, because this is really cool. And he's like,
Yeah.
no, I just like doing it. So, which is very admirable because he just did it for the creative part of it, you know.
He's a
So,
true creative.
yep, yep,
That's why I love Gale.
yep.
And I think that's also he drops so much valuable knowledge in his episodes. So make sure you guys watch Gale's episode
Yes,
because
all of them. Check
it's so
all
good.
of them, guys. They're really
And
good.
in
I,
his thank you. And I'll check out all of Gale's worlds too. He actually just dropped a new one last night. It's a smaller, more of an intimate nightclub, and it has
yes.
some of the craziest visual effects I've ever seen in a club. I mean, I don't even know how he did it. I don't know.
Yep.
It's next level. The place is super like intimate, and I have a huge respect for him for that because you know me, I like to build big structures, everything big. I'm like, I'm gonna build a little venue, and then all of a sudden it's Iris, and it's like
Iris.
a huge, yeah, like a huge venue. Um, yeah, and so that kind of that intros me into my next point, which was my conversation with JB Joseph Bransick.
Hmm.
Um, we had a conversation called Idea to Alive, and it was all about bringing ideas to life, whether they be your own or someone else's. Um, Tell me your favorite experience of bringing one of your own ideas to life. One of your own. You good? Let's get
Sorry,
back.
that's the
No, you're
dog was
good.
going off.
Yeah, no, you're all
Sorry.
right.
So sorry, what you were saying
Yeah,
something, Joseph Brown?
yeah, yeah. So Joseph Bransick and I's conversation was it was Idea to Alive, and it was about bringing ideas to life, being your own or someone else's. Tell me your favorite experience of bringing one of your own ideas to life.
Hmm. Yeah. Let me think. Well, Pumpkinshire was an
Mm,
idea that was sitting in my head, and it was the first attempt at a game that I made.
yeah,
And I thought this could do probably pretty well, if I can actually get out there and do the work. Um, and so I just sat down one night and just started putting down the foundation of the world, and then it started. I don't know if you get this way with songs, Coda, but like when you get into a rhythm, it's just like you can't stop.
yeah.
Like you'll
Oh
go
yeah.
till yeah, you'll go till 5 a.m. And that's what I did
Oh,
with Pumpkinshire. I was like, I just
we're gonna
went
talk about
all
that too. That's
okay.
coming
Yes.
down the line.
Oh
Wait till
man.
we get
But
to RJ.
yes. Oh yeah. And then this is again that wave I'm talking about. When you hit that wave,
Yep.
just hold on to it because it's really good. You might sacrifice things like sleep and all that, but then you'll be really glad you did it. Um, yeah, and I can imagine kind of the the levels RJ goes through for
Oh my
because he's
gosh.
told me, yeah, like
It's
how late
brutal.
he, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And
but yeah,
Angel too. Angel
Angel
will
too.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Angel has had that crazy work ethic in the past where she'll just be in flow state for hours and hours and just making beautiful green worlds. And it's so
yeah.
cool.
As a creative, that's what you want to aim for, right? Is getting in that
Yeah,
state and then just staying in it for as long as you can. But yeah.
right. So yeah, Pumpkinshire. And then tell me one of your favorite experiences where you brought someone else's idea to life.
Hmm. Um, I wouldn't say I brought it to life, but I helped assist bring it to life. So, there's the restaurant that I did with Flex Tie,
A
Elite. Yeah.
yes.
And so Flexi didn't have a restaurant under his belt yet. I had one or two under my belt, and he had the idea of Elite. I was like, yeah. And then he said, let's do a collab on it too. I was like, yeah, for sure. And that was one where I was happy to assist, kind of, bring that his brainchild to life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's again another one of these builds that ended up being more than I thought it would be, because to me it was another restaurant because I already done two by then, and then this would have been a third for me. For Flex, it was his first, but since then, it's like had so many events in there. Like we just did a autism awareness week event in there.
Mm,
That was ran
nice.
by Tinker Love, yeah, and
Oh, that's great.
that was a great, like, again, a build that you build for the fun of it, and then it ends up being so much more to the community or to other people.
Right.
So yeah, that was one I was happy about. Yeah.
And then I was gonna say, because as I wrote that question of bringing someone else's idea to life, I thought of this and I wrote this down and I said, if he doesn't say it, make sure you say it. So I have to bring up Guppy, Escaping Guppy,
Oh
because I
yes.
absolutely love that world. I love the story of it. It makes my heart just warm. And please tell that story.
Yes. And how could I forget about that one? Yeah, that's right up there, and one of the things I've created in here that I'll never forget. So, Escaping Guppy was a brainchild of my son's. It wasn't my idea, it was my son's. And he's like, "Can we build a VR game together?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So he's only like 5 years old. He can't even, the headset barely stays on his head, like it
Right.
falls off. So, and he had this idea and he just wanted to spend more time with his dad. And I was like, "Yeah, of course, this is another way we can spend time with each other." So, um, yeah, he wanted a kind of an escape room game. So it was cool because it was a challenge for me. It was the first time I had ever done an escape room game.
Mm,
Um, and luckily it was leading up to Halloween, so it was like perfect. It was like, yeah, let's work on this, son. So he drew it up, like on paper, like how he wanted the room laid out. And he's like explaining to me, like, okay, Dad, they'll grab the key here. The key will open the secret door in there. You'll get the box cutter to open the box, whatever it is. And then,
wow.
Guppy will chase you and all that. I'm like, perfect. Because I tried to get him to build, but he was just too young.
Yeah.
He was uh, he was just throwing the
Dude, the fact that he's
collidable
even
objects.
throwing out the ideas at 5 that are at that level, I mean, that's insane. Like,
Yeah,
to even attempt building at that age is really still like next level. So
yeah.
salute to you for even like teaching and just like having the patience to. And
Thanks.
you
Yeah.
were probably like, when he asked you, you were probably like, I thought you'd never ask.
Oh yes, yeah. One of those moments where,
Yeah,
if you had a son and
finally.
and
Like,
he asked, Dad, can you teach me how to make music? You'd be like, finally, right?
it is time. Are
Yeah.
you sure you
So
once you yeah, it's like once you commit to this, there's no turning back. Are you sure, son?
yes,
Once you
I did
become
have
a
that moment.
rapper.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I-
funny.
yeah. So it was great, dude. And it wasn't like a best hitting world. It didn't get an incredible amount of attention, but it was one of these. It scratched my creative itch. It scratched his, and it was like a world now I'll hold on to because I'll know me and my son built it together. And so, with a world like that and a creation and project like that, you don't care about how much reach it got, how many likes it got, how what kind of effect it. It was just purely for. It's like with Gail with his Halcyon University did it for himself. This was a project that I wanted to do with my son. And then we did a bit of a promo for it just to kind of get the word out there. And I'm glad we did because
Yeah.
people started recording their experiences in this world. And then I shared it with my son. And you can imagine a 5-year-old how excited he got to see people playing his game and his idea. He got so excited, like a big smile, as big a smile on his
Oh.
face you could imagine. And he's watching the video and he's like, "Can I watch it again?" And so yeah, just so you know, when you guys are recording those experiences in those worlds, like it's affecting people are watching them, especially the people that are making the worlds, and it's really uplifting them. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for telling that story. Is there any other role I wanted to ask that creativity plays in your family life, you feel?
Mm.
So I know
Well,
this is something I asked to RJ too, because he's got a family too, and um, kind of the work life. But I more wanted to ask, where does it play a part in the family life?
Yeah. So yeah, I try to get my kids to all be as creative as they can. And I don't know where I heard this, but kids uh, are in a learning stage when they're young, right? They're just trying to figure out what they're good at or what they enjoy. So
Yeah.
I'm constantly pushing my son to like, yeah, go ahead, try hockey now. Okay, yeah, you want to try Minecraft now? Sure, let's try Minecraft and building in it. You want to learn how to play this card game? Sure. And we're just constantly like every week is a new thing. And my wife's like, can't he stick with one thing? And then I can see the problem there too, because you have to stick with one thing to get good at it, right? But
Right.
also he's in this stage of trying to discover what he likes and what he's good at. And so I'm constantly pushing that on the kids. Like, if you guys want to try something, you just let daddy know. I'll go out, I'll buy you the basketball, or I'll buy you the whatever it is you want to attempt to do, the paint kit if you want to try and paint, just so that they can kind of play around and discover what it is they want to do. And I think this is the age to do it. So yes, creativity plays a huge part in my family. My wife's a baker too.
Oh, nice.
And so yeah, she makes cakes and she's constantly being creative, doing these creative cakes. And her work is amazing as well.
That is awesome.
Um, and yeah, I mean, she actually like her creativity in cakes inspired a world I made called the Shine Spring Garden World. It was a world way back. Very girly, very cutesy, very like not really my aesthetic, like to constantly build at. But her baking kind of inspired that world. It was like, oh, this is a cool cake. Probably make for a cool metaverse world, like
Yeah.
the colors and all that or whatever. So yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of creativity in this household.
So now I gotta ask, with all the cake that's in the refrigerator,
I should,
what's your workout regimen? I need to know
oh
how much
yeah,
water are we drinking in a day? I'm just
I,
kidding.
I really should be 500 plus pounds, but I'm not, because the baking is always around. Our house always smells good. It's always
Oh,
either baked bread or cookies or whatnot. But
that is
um,
lovely. That's
yeah, but
awesome.
um, yeah, just a high metabolism, dude.
High
There's no
metabolism.
workout.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Yeah. That's so good. I'm trying to put on some weight. It's difficult for me. I have a very high metabolism,
Reach out to
but
me after this because I was once at 130,
yeah,
pretty low and I figured out a way how to, because usually people have the opposite problem, right? They want to lose
yeah,
weight.
it's true. Yeah,
Very few people often talk about trying to gain weight, and that's actually
right.
just as hard. It's not as easy for guys like you and me with the high metabolism. So
Totally. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I definitely will. Matlo's got the cheat codes. Um, so you obviously know JB. I wanted to touch on just him too. On how do you know JB?
um, well, we bumped into each other a few times at events and stuff, and then I really got to know him more uh, in our build. The what was it called?
Oh, our water
Techtopia.
park, Techtopia. Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
So, and he was just hanging around, and
that's
oftentimes I'd
right.
ask him things, and he was sharing and showing his stuff. Another one of these non-gatekeeper creators. So, and yeah, just a great, again, one of these personalities that, you find them in the community, right? And
Yeah.
you already know, okay, I like this person. Everybody else likes them, and then you meet them, and then you realize why everybody likes them. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
that it's just a good soul, talented, the kind of person you want to surround yourself with in here. So yeah, JB's awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean I could say all the same things about JB too. I feel like everybody that's in this room that's met him can also say the same. JB is such a warm soul. So shout out to you, JB, if you're watching.
yeah,
We appreciate your presence in the community. Seriously, yeah, and appreciate you being on the show too, because JB's episode was so good.
yeah.
Um, I had a couple more questions on JB's conversation actually. I know I kind of like have been outroing like the people I've been talking about by like asking the question about him. And I've really just been thinking about questions because I was like, I don't want to just ask how he knows all these people. Like I want to know how he met Harles and what his relationship is with Flex, and
Yeah.
how you bumped
And
into JB. And
I need to add this in, Coda.
yeah,
The lineup you had for these 7 weeks speaks a lot to how much people enjoy you too. And so I feel like you deserve your flowers too. If anyone hasn't mentioned it, I'm sure it's been mentioned too by other guests, but you deserve your flowers tonight as
oh,
well. And for the whole thing, for this whole endeavor that you've put together, this was for the community, and it's so valuable. Like I pulled away so many interesting things from these conversations with all these talented people. So anyways, just want to give you your flowers too. Just you
thank
you
you,
deserve it too,
thank
man.
you, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's just been a passion of mine. I always just go where my heart leads me, and yeah, so this is definitely something that kind of caught me off guard. I never thought I would do like a talk show type of thing. I'm the guy with the stage fright too. Like, even for being the rapper that I am and the music artist, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna defy all odds. And that was something I even talked about with Harles too. Is like you have to kind of push past the things that make you uncomfortable sometimes. I talked about it with Flex. Push past the stage fright, and that'll obviously level you up to the next plane of where you can be with your creativity. So
Yes.
it's been encouraging. But the question I was gonna ask is how do you properly nurture a big idea? Like say you have this huge idea or plan for something, like what are the precautionary steps that you take to make sure it's absolutely successful? Like you're
Mm,
locked in on it.
yeah. And that's a great question because it's for a big idea to come to fruition. I would say the number one thing you probably have to have is patience. And it can be very hard because if you're on things like Instagram or Facebook, or you have friends and they're putting out work and content, and you have this big idea that's just taking a while to produce or to generate, and you can you can easily kind of give up on the idea. And so if you're going after something big, I think you need to be very kind with yourself, and you need to give yourself some patience. And like if you have that idea for a game or a world that you want to build, and it's going really slow, if you're on your third month and it's still not done, don't don't be discouraged, because at least you're doing something. Like there's people who are like they can't even get up off the couch and do something. At least you're trying. And if you
Yeah,
get there and it takes you an entire year, like so be it. Like who cares about the timeline? Because I find myself sometimes feeling that rushed feeling, like, oh, I haven't put something out in a while, and
yeah,
I got to get something really quick out. And then I have to take a step back and realize, no, that's not the route to go, because then it's not enjoyable. You're like, you feel panicked, you feel, you don't feel good. You know what I mean? It's not, and that's not what you signed up for. You signed up so that this whole VR journey is enjoyable. So you just have to be patient with yourself, I would say.
you're right. And I totally feel like you can almost come to a place of like I don't want to quite almost say it yet, but mastering your creativity where like you're you kind of understand that you have to have that patience, so then you plan it out in the future
Yeah,
of like I have projects I know like right now that are set to release in 2025, maybe 2026.
yeah,
Like big projects, that I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna have that done by like the end of this year, and I just know its trajectory, and I'm just like there for it because if you kind of like don't put a timeline on it, but just give yourself like oh, this might take like a year even, and just give yourself an open-ended time frame. I feel like that's super important. So I just want to throw that on top of it too.
yes,
Um,
yeah,
and then moving on to another another great creator. Harles and I talked about this too, but RJ the creator
yeah.
um talked about flow state with me. And I know you mentioned it a couple times. I was like, Matt, don't bring it up yet. Wait.
Damn.
Like, wait, flow state. No, it's so good. We were getting you in your flow state live on stage. That's what I was talking about. We get to see all the creative energy here on stage. But this is such a crucial one because flow state accesses subconscious and all of your deepest emotions. And I say it's the quickest way from your heart to the art.
Mhm.
What is your relationship with flow state? Could you let us in on that?
Yeah. My relationship with flow state is uh it's almost as if uh, someone's putting blinders on you, or on me at least. I can't see out the left and right side of me. I can only see in front of me that whole tunnel vision of
Mm,
I see the end goal and I'll just do anything to get at it, or
yeah,
get to it. And I won't eat. I won't sleep. I'll be going up constantly for another coffee just to keep me up, because I'm just in such a state of creativity that it's like I don't mind if I take a bit of a hit, with my sleep and things like that, because I'm in it. Like it's just okay. I can't stop. I can't stop. I got to keep going. So and I don't mind it because usually every time it's happened to me, I recover from it. So, I
yeah,
might go a few days or weeks without sleeping or whatever because I've hit this flow state and I'm just, projects are getting pumped out. I'm feeling good about them. Like I might not be feeling good physically, but I'm feeling good that all this productivity is coming out of me. And then also I'm seeing the effects of it. Like it's actually taking off like how I thought it would, or it's
yeah,
doing as well as I thought it would. And then yeah, that's when I hit that flow state. For me, that's what it looks like. It's it's a lot of
yeah,
personal sacrifice, but
yeah.
then it's paying off for something else. So
Do you feel like that sacrifice is necessary
I
to get like the best work? Like, do you feel like somebody has to go through that to in order to get the best work?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Um, I would say you should definitely be open to it. Like if
right,
you really want to finish something, or you're doing something and you're going to value something kind of trivial, something more trivial over a big idea you have, and you're in the state, and you sacrifice that to say go and watch another Netflix episode. Probably not. Probably a decision you'll regret later.
right,
Like you won't regret turning off the Netflix to try and maybe do something because you hit a state of creativity. So
yeah,
um, yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Um, and how how do you feel like flow state has kind of almost contributed to your like overall portfolio? Like, do you feel like flow state has ever been like one of those things where you've just gotten into a flow state over a span of time, and then you like kind of look and there's like a group of like 14 worlds that you had built or something, and you're like, oh, flow state. Whoa,
yes,
like that's I know
that, that
that's happened before with like Carl's has texted me like he worked on a song like all day or something, texted me and he's just like flow state, bro. I'm like, what is this? And it's like the most insane thing. Yeah.
yes, yeah, yep, yeah, and I've hit that in the past, especially in here. There was a time where I couldn't slow down with what was going on in here. It was every night, and I had to tell my wife, "Okay, I got a thing here tonight. It's actually drumming up business or whatever." So she was always supportive in
Yeah.
that manner. But there was a point where I was like, I threw out a flamethrower. Then I threw out a. You probably remember all this. I threw out a flamethrower. I threw out a metaverse vehicle. Then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, I got invited to put that vehicle in a music video. That music video led to me being on a talk show. That talk show, inspired me to do something else, whatever. So that was a state where it was like that was a few months, and then eventually it crashed, and things quiet down, which is good. But
Yeah.
then you gotta work to get that state again, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. And then RJ also talked about his mindset for innovation. What is kind of your thoughts on innovation? His like whole mindset is like when I come into a space, I come in to innovate. And like, is that kind of your same level of thinking or
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and RJ's amazing at that. He's
yeah,
just talking to him, you can tell that he's constantly thinking in that manner,
yeah,
which is awesome because that's what the space needs. And and it's cool to see cool new ideas being presented, and they always come out in the stuff he does. So yeah, he's a great spokesperson for that. Um, for me, yeah, I constantly try to innovate as well. Even if it's just a small innovation, like something new. Because I've seen the conversation happen in the Discord and out there in Horizon. People are like, another club or another this or another that. Like, is anyone going to bring anything new to the table or whatever? So
Right.
people are asking, people who aren't capable of building stuff or creating, they're asking for it.
Yeah.
And I think it's up to us as creators to try and, to
Meet
innovate
the
and,
need.
yeah, do new things. It's actually, it'll be more rewarding for yourself too. It's because I know you talked about this in one of your interviews with one of the other guests. You don't always want to do things to please the masses, right? But in
Yeah.
this case, people are asking, like, is there any creators out there with the skills and talent to bring this to life? Like nobody's done a prison world yet or whatever it is. And then, it's up to someone to spot that and be like, oh, I'll be the one to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you find the need, meet it.
Mhm.
Um, that's a really like I feel like specific form of innovation. Which is really good and unique to you. That's great.
Yeah.
Hope y'all wrote that down. That's gold. That is gold. Um, on the topic of RJ still, I actually in his talk, which and I think I talked about this on his episode too. Um, but he's RJ is not an emotional dude. RJ's like RJ was a bodybuilder. He's tough. He's a tough guy.
Yep.
I love him. I know deep down RJ's just a big teddy bear and he just wants a big hug. But he'll tell you that he's working on Battle for Steel City. So
That man is driven. I've never seen a
oh,
man
he
more
is though.
driven to succeed. And yeah, he's a guy that deserves all the flowers he's getting because he puts in that
Seriously.
sacrifice. He doesn't get any sleep. He tells me about he's told me about his days. Like there's days he won't go to bed or things like that, but
I
it's
know it.
paying off for him. And that's why he does it. Because look at the
Yeah.
stuff he creates, like that the Steel City. Like I just visited it not that long ago. I was like, wow, like this is the kind of stuff that inspires other creators to kind of push things
Yep.
forward, right? So yeah.
He's that guy.
Yep.
And um almost in a way, I feel like some of the best creators all have that one thing in common where it's like, yeah, no, you don't have to have those like sacrifices you were talking about, but it definitely helps.
It helps.
Um,
Yes. Yep.
and I feel like you almost look at yourself as like you're just taking one for the greater good of
Bigger
the
cause.
creativity. Yeah, yeah, the bigger
Yep.
cause, because it is a
Yep.
bigger cause. I would say that
Yeah.
the creativity can grow bigger than yourself. The things that you create have the ability to grow way bigger than you even, and it's like your creations, even if you don't intend them to, can grow bigger than what you intend them to.
Yep.
Um, and and yeah, RJ's really seen that through. But I mean, I picked him out for one of the topics, which was emotions within art. And I just thought it was hilarious because I knew a lot of people that knew RJ would like kind of almost chuckle that I picked that for RJ because he's just not that type of guy.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I think he's really good at evoking a feeling within the art, and you are as well. And a world that comes to mind is your rain world, which is
Mhm.
just so peaceful. Um, but how do you kind of intend for a place to feel a certain way? Like, how do you evoke a specific emotion within somebody that's experiencing something that you created?
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're talking specifically about Rain World too, I mean, like with Rain World, um, it had to be a certain mood because the whole world is about just rain and being around rain. I'm like, I created it because I'm a fan of rain. I listen to it when I work and things like that. And my wife also enjoys that weather, just being inside the house and just listening to the rain on the window. Um, and so when I entered into that build, you do have to consider the mood you're trying to create. So what are the sounds like? So I would go through the library of sounds and try to find all the sounds that would lend itself to a rain type world. Then the color palette, right? Like the color palette, it can't be bright yellow and greens and like all fluffy and it's got to be moody. You got to go dark. You got to go kind of grayish, bluish. Like it's a cold, rainy day. Um, and all those things, yeah, they matter. Like Gail will tell you too. He also considers everything, the color, how much amount of fog you have in that world. Because if it's a scary world, you need a fog. It's a lot of things you got to consider, and yeah, some people don't realize how much thought goes into every aspect of a world build just to create a certain type of mood.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Specific feeling and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say to someone looking to stand out creatively?
They're looking to stand out.
Yeah, yeah, looking to like stand out and just kind of
Yeah.
make catch people off guard in whatever lane that they're in of
Yes.
creativity.
Well, that right there, if you hold on to that as your slogan to catch people off guard, that's a great thing to hold on to because I've told Flex this. Um, Flex is known for his luxurious lofts and apartments.
Right.
And if you were to throw out a horror world, I think it would throw everybody off guard, right? Where you'd be like, but it would probably garner a lot of attention because people would be like, what? Flex Tie is doing a scary game world. I need to see this, right? Um, I think if you kind of hold on to that, that's one way of garnering attention is trying to do stuff that hasn't been done before. Um, but another thing, like my wife, she has a marketing degree, and she's kind of pushed this on me because I'm kind of introverted as well. I've gotten a lot better since I've been in here with the headset, but I'm extremely introverted in real life. And she told me, because I told her I want this to kind of pan out business wise, this has got to bring in income and stuff to make my time worth while in here. She's like, you got to put yourself out there from a business marketing side because she has that marketing brain. She's like, you got to put out content. You got to be constantly talking about your stuff, and you just can't. You almost have to be kind of obnoxious with it. And it's not to be an obnoxious person, but it's actually required in order to garner attention for the stuff you're doing, the worlds you're creating, the all the work you're putting. It's kind of put off to the wayside if you don't market it. And I've seen it
Yeah.
time and time again where there's some great creators in here, and there's a little bit of hesitation on the marketing side. It's like I don't want to, toot my own horn and talk about my work. And I often try to tell them that no one's going to view you badly for doing that. People who want to support you will actually be happy you're doing it. And the people who don't like you, they never liked you in the first place anyway. So who cares what they think?
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
might as well get out there, talk about your stuff, talk your game, talk and who cares? And the people who really like you and support you, they'll be there and they'll be giving you, the thumbs up. They'll be saying, "Hey, I just saw your post. That's great that you just came out with something new." And yeah, you kind of have to get over yourself. The
Yeah.
shyness and the vulnerability of putting yourself out there if you want to actually get some attention in here with the stuff you're making.
You will only
Uh,
go as far as you take yourself creatively. You
uh,
know, you only go as far as you can take yourself, and you miss all those opportunities that you really don't take. I know that's like a saying that people say all the time, but like you decided not to go into that instance because you were like, ah, no, there's like 20 people there and I just don't want to be around 20 people or whatever, and it's like get uncomfortable and get in that room and own it and be confident,
yeah.
and you'll just be empowered by just doing that,
Yes.
and just facing that fear and conquering it. There's so much power in that experience.
Yeah. And it
Um,
gets easier over time too. Like it's hard at the
yeah,
beginning, and you kind of have to force yourself, but it gets easier. Yeah.
yeah. Before we jump off of RJ completely, I definitely wanted to ask you, what's your favorite RJ the Creator experience?
Oh, honestly, I think it might be the Steel City
That's a
right
good
now.
answer.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. It's his
Yeah.
best for sure, hands
Yeah.
down. It's
I'm doing a little.
insane.
By the way, RJ, I'm doing some promoting for you right now, so I'm expecting a check in the mail.
Yep. 100 grand.
No, actually, but it's really cool. It's actually he did a really good job with it because not only is it a game world for anyone that's visited it, he's actually put some spaces for potential venue, like some events and things like that. And
Yeah.
I know there's some other great creators that collabed with him on it, so I don't want to miss them either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Steel City is my
Yeah.
favorite of his right now. Yeah. And he was on your show and it was funny. He said when he first came into the space, he said the first two people I met were Leo, the architect,
Yeah.
and Matlo, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
he's like,
right.
oh man, that was like the great two people to meet. But this is
Yeah.
another case. I told this with Flex. When Flex came in, he's like, I'm such a fan of your work to me. And I was like, don't do that because I don't think of myself like that. So don't do that. And then I quickly became a fan of his. And it's funny with the RJ story sharing how he came in and met me and Leo. Like now I'm such a fan of his work. Like who isn't a fan of RJ's work? He does such
Yeah.
great stuff, right? So it's that's how it should be. We should become a fan, end up becoming fans of each other's work and supporting each other. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the people around you that are your friends should be fans of you too. They should be your biggest fans.
Yeah.
They should be supporting you more than your, so-called fans actually do, like the people that just show up to the shows and just show up to see what you do when you're entertaining and creating,
Mhm.
versus like your close people. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's good. And then, Angel and I had a very insightful conversation about all sorts of stuff. Our conversation was about art as a platform and just kind of using it as a voice, um, for all sorts of things, just for whatever your reality is, though, I guess, like your perspective and what you see. But one of the things we were talking about was like the risk versus reward in art, and that kind of ties back into the lifestyle piece a little bit of like you don't want to be in flow state and burn out.
Yeah.
Um, but you kind of have to take those risks or you won't take or you won't get the reward. So I guess my question is, when you're looking at a situation and it's a risk or reward situation, how do you make the decision in that moment? Do you just kind of do what feels right? Is it a gut feeling,
Mm-hmm.
intuition, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
read the situation?
Absolutely that, yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully you have good intuition within you,
Yeah.
to gauge whether it's worth the risk, whatever you're going after, creatively. Uh, Intuition, yeah, it's funny you bring that up because like I was reading somewhere that, intuition and gut feels, that stuff existed in the caveman days, right? Cavemen needed to have, or cave women needed to have intuition in order to stay alive because they, a big dinosaur was heading their way and their intuition would kick in. Okay, that thing is dangerous. I need to go back
Right.
into my cave and
Yeah.
build a fire or whatever. So it dates back to, the early caveman days. Intuition is it's important you listen to it because 90% of the time, especially if you have good tuition, it's correct. Right. And I do that too with creative projects. And if something is going to pan out or not pan out, intuition plays a big part. Yeah.
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 Absolutely. And you also have to have intuition when collaborating as well, which is another piece of my conversation with
Mhm.
Angel. What does it kind of look like collaborating for you? Like, kind of how do you balance individual creativity and group cohesion in a collab?
Yeah, so I think with collaborations, it's very important right off the bat to set the precedence of what you're expecting for both of you or however many people are in the group, because there can be complications later in a collab. Like I didn't sign up for this amount of work, or I didn't sign up to do the lighting in this world, or whatever
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure it's the same with music. Like I didn't sign up to be the third verse in the song. I want to be the first. I don't know.
Right.
You could end up with
Right.
those
Yeah.
complications, right? So even it's funny you mentioned Angel because I have a collab planned with her super secretive. But we're gonna
Awesome.
do a collab for the first time. I've always adored her and respected her, so I'm finally gonna
Yeah.
be able to do something with her. But even with her reputation and everything, on our collab, I reached out to her and we got into this really long, really great conversation about what the expectations were for our collab together.
Mm,
It was great. We just spent, voice notes to each other and messages, and we just hashed out, okay, what are you expecting? Are you expecting this to be a primitive world or a tri-mesh world? Are you expecting us to, are you going to do this part and I'm going to do this part? And we got all of that out of the way at the beginning so that the rest of it is just going to be enjoyable. It's just, we already know what each of us is going to do. And so we can just put on music, we can collab, we can build together, whatever. And all the difficult conversations are already out of the way. And we've done that. So,
yeah.
anyways, that's a big key, I would say. Doing
Huge.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And building a relationship with your collaborator was a huge thing that we talked about. Having that friendship piece
Hmm.
is so key. Um, and I feel like us collaborating too, Techtopia was like half of that build was just us in there, like just talking. Like we just had like a lot of nights, just hours in there, like put a bot in there, just listen to some music, and we would just talk really.
Oh,
And I feel like that's what the collaboration is about. And the water park almost built itself in that way because we were just in conversation, flow state, and laughing and throwing stuff around. And I feel like when you don't take it as seriously and you make the dynamic that, it has the potential for more greatness within it and more detail and
yeah.
more flow state because it's not so serious. It's the
Yeah.
environment that it's seen in, it's the perspective you're viewing it as, and it changes everything. It changes the whole dynamic of the collaboration. So have fun with your collaborators, you guys, and
Yeah.
collaborate with your friends.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
or make friends with people you want to collaborate with. In my case,
Yeah. Hang out with
just
them for
DM them.
yes, yeah, DM them, hang out with them for a bit, get a feel
Right.
for what they're like. And then if it's like if the instant thought, the intuition, right, kicks in and says, I would really enjoy being around this person, building something with them,
Yeah.
then it's a pretty good chance that collab's going to turn out good. So, yeah.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
absolutely. Um, and then one question I asked to Angel that I want to ask to you, is what advice would you give somebody looking to convey a message through their art?
Mhm. Yeah.
And I know this is an interesting question for you, so take the time you need
Yeah.
because
And
this is not it's a music
mhm.
question almost,
That's a
like,
tough one.
or
Yeah.
like a poet question, but I do think that you can almost evoke more with what you can see than words sometimes, or in song or through singing or rapping. I feel like a build can
Hmm.
almost say more at times or say something totally different that isn't possible to be said with words. Same
Mm.
thing with like production versus like vocals, you know. There's things that make you feel different in production that only production can evoke. Like you can't
Right.
get that from certain words.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, and I didn't prepare answers either, so I'm gonna have to.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm saying just take your time on that one.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we are almost wrapping up too, but so
okay,
I'm
cool.
I'm hitting it hard for the last like couple of
Awesome.
questions here, but yeah,
Well, I'll share with you a conversation I had with Harls because we were talking about his music
yeah,
and creative, and he was, creativity and trying to push out a certain message in his songs. And he's like, oftentimes when I'm saying my lyrics, you know, it's he's like, that's not me. Like that's just maybe a way I want you to feel from the song. But he might be talking like I'm the, he's not saying these words exactly, but he's like saying, I'm the best rapper alive, things like that in the song or whatever. He actually, you know, he might actually feel like that in that moment or for that song, or he wants to make you feel that way. It's not that he actually feels that way. He wants you to feel that way when you're listening to the song. And then I brought up the point, like it was Kanye West that was getting interviewed. He's like, when I'm talking all that talk, about how great I am. It's actually, I'm not talking, I want, I'm talking about it. I'm talking that way because I want, when you're listening to it, you're actually relating it back to yourself and you're feeling the way I want you to feel through the song. Like, like I'm the shit. I'm doing stuff. I'm being great, all that.
Yeah.
I'm putting those lyrics in my song, not because I actually sometimes think that, but because I want you to feel that way.
Mm,
And so that's a way that he was doing that through his music to evoke a certain emotion in other people, right?
yeah.
Um, and yeah, you're right. You can do the same thing with world builds too. You can evoke. Um, I think Metavash Spike is great with that. He has these artistic worlds, and there's no writing really. It's just a big world, and it's a massive art piece, and you feel a certain way from the the mood he's created, the coloring, and the objects he's used, and then that's it. That's all the world is. And then he's like an incredible creator, and he gets a lot of attention for his worlds because he evokes a lot of mood and emotion just by putting his work out there. He's obviously trying to channel something for you to feel a certain way in his worlds. So yeah, you can certainly do it in worlds. I haven't taken that approach in any of my builds yet. But yeah, you can definitely do that. You know, yeah, I know Harl's he tries to do that in his music. I'm sure you do too. I know you've talked about it a few nights with me late at with Flex,
Yep.
where you
If you don't feel it, how is anyone else supposed to feel it?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you're in a
And
mood or something happened to you and you dive into that studio and you
yeah,
you write in that moment because everything's coming naturally, and then you can feel
right.
it in the song too. Like this is a really sad song. Like
Yeah.
Coda must have been going through some shit here.
And that's
It's going
that's what
through.
I was gonna touch on. You know how you said earlier, like when you're creating, you're happy. And I was thinking to myself, at first I thought to myself, no, that's not necessarily true. I'm not always happy when I'm creating. Then I thought to myself, is that? Actually it is. I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, he's right. I'm like
it's your
thinking
outlet. Yeah.
about it, yeah, it's the therapy. It's
Yep.
because I'm creating that I became happy. And so maybe whatever happened to me, um, I had a conversation with Sheila one time and I was trying to just tell her how I like record because I was telling her like almost just coaching her on like one punch in takes and stuff. And she was like, I don't kind of understand how to get the right emotion out by just doing the one line again and again. When like she's kind of used to doing one punch take all the way through and recording a bunch of lines and it kind of all flowing together. But it's
Mm,
easier for your breath to catch up if you just do one line at a time and get
mm,
better takes. So I was talking to her about that. You're almost an actor in a sense, where you have to put yourself into the mindset, into the emotion, and feel it so fully. And we have a song called Spirit of Bliss. But bliss, I believe, in definition, is any feeling fully felt. So I feel like that's really what it is in the music and um, yeah. So
yeah. Yep.
um, and then also transitioning out of Angel before I forget to ask you, how long have you known Angel for?
Oh, the early days. I've
Yeah,
seen.
I
Yeah.
was gonna
No.
say I saved that
Uh,
question for y'all because I was like,
yeah.
y'all probably known each other forever.
Yes, yeah, and I'm not like the closest friend with Angel, so I want to get that out there too. But I've known her since
Yeah,
probably she just started on this platform. I think we started around the same time. I've seen her in the house parties and things like that.
yeah.
Back in the day when there was a lot of house parties going on
Oh
in VR
man,
and a lot of fun stuff.
it
So
was jumping.
yeah, but again, another person that is good for the platform and all that. Yeah, shout out Angel.
Yeah, shout out Angel. Um, so I know maybe there's people in the crowd tonight or people watching that are kind of thinking, why didn't he mention mastering your creativity one time? Well, I did once. It was one time, and I was like, oh, I don't even want to say it yet when I said it. But I want to say it now. With all of that being said, um, I was thinking about truly what it means to master creativity, and I wrote this out when I was planning this. Becoming a master means realizing you cannot master it. You can only become better. It means knowing consistency and discipline will get you to a better place. But in the world of art, the best is subjective. It's this idea that mastering creativity means knowing truly it can never be mastered, but rather further harnessed. A lot of people I know refer to you as a master of what you do, and I couldn't agree more. What do you think of that perspective, Matlo?
And I don't I don't agree. No, I can't agree with that. Like I
Yeah,
can't. And you're right though. If you really want to be a master, you're never done learning. You're
yeah,
never at an end part. Like if someone is telling you, "Oh, I'm the master at this," whatever, maybe they're really good at it, but you should constantly be still be learning and things like that. So yeah, I would never want to be considered, oh, he's just the master, he's the pinnacle. Like, no, I'm still learning.
yeah,
But to further that's beautiful what you just wrote. They also say an artist, a true artist, is never really done with their work or their painting.
yeah,
They just decide to put the paintbrush down at some point because
right.
you have to. A true artist, they can say, oh, it can be better, it can be better. They can keep going, and eventually, what happens? A true artist they'll have to hit a point where they say, that's enough, and I have to put the brush down. Um, so you're never really done with an art piece, and that's what a true artist is. That's what a true master is knowing they could do it better and keep getting better and better, but you have to kind of stop and then do another thing. So yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
the best people in I guarantee you, the best creators in here, the best musicians, they're ones they don't actually think in their head, I have all the answers already. They're people that have the mindset of, I want to learn more or I need to get better, and they're just doing that the whole time, year after year, until they get to the end. Like what's that actor's name? Matthew McConaughey.
yeah,
He did a speech, and in the speech he was like, I don't know if anyone knows the speech. It's a pretty popular speech on the internet. He's like, my hero is myself 5, 10 years from now. And then he hits that point 5, 10 years later, he becomes this better person. He becomes what he always dreamed of being 5, 10 years from then. But then when he hits that point, he has a new hero, and that new hero is another 10 years into the future.
yeah,
And his plan is just to do that all the way till he gets to his grave, which is constantly, trying to better yourself, become a better person, a better human being. And if you do that throughout your life, I think you probably end up in a really good state, right? So,
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Well, I feel like that's a great place to close. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. And thank you for all of your amazing insight on all the topics tonight and going through the case study. I know I ran you through like the whole gauntlet of questions. But before you leave the stage, I'm gonna kind of wrap up the seminar here. I would like to close the seminar with this. If you're struggling creatively in any way, take the time to get to know yourself more, please. Live life, go touch grass, take your headset off. Um, Spend some time with yourself, not doing creative things, and love the people around you. Love the things that are right in front of you, and be grateful and just watch how the creativity just comes into your life and follows in, because creativity can only strive and thrive in an environment that it feels welcome. So make it feel welcome. Um, Creativity's everywhere. Everybody sees something different. What do you guys see? Tell your story, please, for me. And thank you again, everybody. I'll be back with another seminar soon here at the Guardian. Have a blessed night. We're out of here. Great.
Are you looking to take your online presence to the next level? At Lux Vision Studios, we're your one-stop shop for building a strong digital brand and connecting with your target audience. We produce high-quality shows in a variety of formats, including podcasts, talk shows, gaming content, and motivational videos. Our team of experts will manage your social media channels and branding, helping you amplify your story and reach a wider audience. We stream content across popular social media platforms and Roku, ensuring maximum visibility. Whether you're a gamer, entrepreneur, or looking to inspire others, we have the expertise to help you achieve your online goals. Here's what sets us apart: engaging content. We produce a variety of shows to keep your audience interested and coming back for more. Social media and branding mastery. We'll manage your online presence and build a strong brand that resonates with your target audience. Multi-platform reach. We stream your content across popular platforms and Roku, maximizing your visibility. Community focus. We believe in fostering a community around your content, creating a loyal following. Let Lux Vision Studios help you connect with your community and amplify your voice online.
What's good, y'all? This is Coda KOD. I'm at the Guardian Theater at the set of the Nurturing Your Creativity seminar. This is on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, and this is streaming on Lux Vision Studios.
Hi, I'm Jen Smash, and I'm here at VIP Entrepreneur Academy, where this is a world that you can learn how to start a business. For all you entrepreneurs who want to learn how to start a business, this is the ideal place to learn in the metaverse. This is a 9-week course where we go ahead and dissect every section of a business, from understanding your customer and industry to creating your budget for payroll and even taxes. We break down what is the requirements for you to have a successful business. So if you're ready to become an entrepreneur and want to learn the ropes, VIP Entrepreneur is ready to take in new students just like you. You can contact me at vipentrepreneur@gmail.com. See you at the next class.
What I guess you doing over there, woman?
Man.
Excuse me?
You said woman, man.
That don't mean you get the copy, man.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Y'all already know who it is. It's your boy, Ruvis Dean.
And I am Shaquila.
And we are from the 52 Hitters Professional Spades League, the very first professional spades league in the world. And we want to announce the regular season that we are about to have. Listen, we are going to have 18 professional spades teams. They are about to go head to head in a brutality of spades that you have never seen, and it is about to be epic. Keela, tell them, Keela.
Listen, we're about to have 17 weeks with these 18 teams going head to head, cutthroat, okay? Buying. Listen, it's going down and you don't want to miss this. And also, the 52 Hitters are doing something special to where the outside community, if you guys want to come by and be able to watch us and watch these matches, you can go to the 52 Hitters Instagram, message us, let us know you want to be able to come and watch, and we can give you pricing and details. But once again, this is 17 weeks of straight heat, and you do not want to miss this. So, Dean, how many nights a week are we going to be doing this?
So listen, it's going down. We're going to be doing this 2 nights a week. It's going to be Tuesday and Thursday. And just like Keela said, hit us up if you want to come. But if you cannot come and you cannot be there in person, then make sure that you tune in to Lux Vision Studios here on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Facebook. And listen, Roku, listen. We everywhere, all right? So make
if
sure
you missed this, it's because you wanted to.
You missed this is because you wanted to, all right? And we breaking history right here. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this whatsoever. All right, so again, we got the 52 Hitters Professional Spades League, and we are about to drop our first regular season. It is going down. We are the Royal Card family. We are the best spade players on the planet, and we're about to show everybody in the world what spades really looks like coming from the metaverse.
Oh, so now everybody.
Going down, you don't want to miss this.
It's going down. Lux Vision Studio. We in the building. Make sure y'all check us out. 52 Hitters. We here. We ain't going nowhere, baby. It's your boy,
Nowhere.
Ruvis Dean, the card missioner.
My
Y'all
name
already
is
know.
I am Shakila, the counter for the club. We turning it up.
Turn up, baby. Deuces.
Hey, what's up? This your boy Teray,
CJ Shotman. It's your boy Westside.
and you chilling with the Breaking Bread podcast. Hey, tune in and check us out every Saturday for some good talk.
You already know.
Good
the
conversation.
realest talks. You hear me?
Yeah, tune in.
Breaking bread. Breaking bread.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy HG. I was 702. Let's get tripping like a kid, untie his shoes. And you see the vibe and you see the move. Where I'm at, that's the Howard Hour Live to be exact. And you can catch me live on Lux Vision Studios to be exact. So make sure you tune in every Friday night, 11 Central, 12 Eastern, and 9 Pacific. And you know, everybody's a somebody. Catch me live on Lux Vision Studio. Let's go.